My name is Melanie Doucette, and I am the Director of Entrepreneurship and Innovation for Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism. Welcome to Momentum 2023. I am thrilled to be one of your MCs tonight. I'd like to begin our program this evening with gratitude, acknowledging that economic development and tourism carries out its activities on Treaty 8 territory, the traditional lands of the Cree, Dene, and the unceded territory of the Métis people. The lands in which we reside and work play a significant role in the region's past, present, and future. We recognize our collective responsibility to steward the land as we co-create opportunities alongside Indigenous leaders and communities in the region to strengthen our economic and social well-being. I would also like to acknowledge the elected officials in the room. We have Member of Parliament for Fort McMurray Cold Lake, Leila Goodrich, Deputy Mayor Alan Grandison, and Councillors Ball and Cardinal. My apologies if I did miss anyone. Thank you all for joining us this evening. I would now like to introduce you to my co-MC for the evening, Kara Johnston with Alberta Innovates.
Thank you, Melanie. So today we're bringing the energy, creativity, and community spirit that is Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo to Momentum 2023. Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo is widely known throughout the province for being pioneers and industry leaders and having the courage to do things a little bit differently than maybe they've been done before. Our goal today is to water those seeds of innovation already planted in this region and to inspire new ways of thinking about innovation as we look forward to what's possible. It's now my very great pleasure to welcome Elder Diane Tremblay, who will share an opening prayer to help us set positive intentions and blessings for this evening.
Tonight we come together to pray. Together we pray and honor the Creator and the traditional lands of the Indigenous people. Let us honor our culture, our ancestors, and each other. Let us also pray together this evening to listen, learn, share, eat, celebrate. This evening is all about the event. Thank you.
We cannot talk about the future of innovation in Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo without first acknowledging Alberta Innovates and their investment in our region. We are fortunate to be a part of the innovation ecosystem in Alberta, working closely with our technology development advisor to provide local programs and services for people wanting to start a business, innovate a solution, or accelerate the growth of existing technology. You may have heard of the Wood Buffalo Regional Innovation Network, or the RIN. This is a community-driven network designed to increase and capture innovation on the front lines, attract technologies and talent to our community, and inspire a whole new generation of entrepreneurs across the region. Economic Development and Tourism operates the RIN out of our business incubator Startup YMM, offering tech-related programs and support for entrepreneurs. We collaborate with an advisory committee comprised of Keano College, Pathways Alliance, the Fort McMurray Chamber of Commerce, Community Futures Wood Buffalo, and of course, Alberta Innovates.
Thank you, everybody. So I'm going to go off script a little because that's what I do on occasion. So I'm going to try to help the room understand exactly what a regional innovation network is and how it ties to the overall mandate of the province of Alberta. Okay, so Alberta Innovates, as you may know, is the research and innovation arm of the Alberta government. We are tasked with supporting the Ministry of Technology and Innovation achieve its mandate of implementing the Alberta Technology and Innovation Strategy. We have one. It's pretty cool. So this strategy was designed to ensure that Alberta is a destination of choice for innovators, entrepreneurs, investors, and to encourage commercialization of new technologies in this province to solve problems, not just on a provincial scale or a national scale, but a global scale. So ultimately, this is going to help us create more technology jobs, attract technology investment, diversify Alberta's economy. Ultimately, we help to steer the innovation system in Alberta according to the provincial priorities and business goals. So ultimately, our goal is to help support Alberta's post-pandemic recovery plan to put us back on course for long-term financial sustainability. So how do we do that? What does that look like? So Alberta Innovates has funding programs, services, collaborations, and initiatives that are geared towards advancing our pillars, which are clean resource technologies, artificial intelligence, the future of health, smart agriculture, and one of the big reasons we're here tonight, the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So let's talk a little bit about what exactly is an innovative or entrepreneurial ecosystem. So this ecosystem is how we boost entrepreneurs and support the collaborative networks at the local, regional, and provincial level. So this is to help fulfill the mandate set before the ministry that we spoke of earlier, technology and innovation. And so Alberta Innovates created a program, and yes, we're a program, called the Regional Innovation Networks. So there are 8 such networks in the province. These networks are made up of like-minded organizations, such as post-secondaries, so here we have Keano College, and economic development agencies. So I'd like to give a shout out to our economic development team here, as well as Community Futures, the Chamber of Commerce, and of course, like I said, Keano College. And so these all work together with TDAs, and I have 10 brilliant colleagues throughout the province that also work within the other regions. So each region is super passionate about supporting small and medium-sized technology-based businesses. We help them grow, we help them launch, innovate, diversify, grow, with the goal of supporting those overall arching goals that we talked about earlier from the Alberta Research and Innovation Strategy. The beautiful thing about RINs, because there's 8 of us, and I mean like Grand Prairie, Fort McMurray, Lloydminster region, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, Edmonton, Calgary. The beauty is that we're all unique. We all face different gaps and challenges unique to our region, unique to the industries in our region, and unique to how we fit into the province as a whole. So the best part is that we are able to work within our community with the support of industry to identify the gaps that are experienced here by the entrepreneurs, by the innovators. Because of this, we're able to curate our program to match the needs of the local community right here while supporting the overarching goals of Alberta Innovates and the Government of Alberta. So I've been super fortunate to be connected with the Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo RIN since its inception. So this is actually the second RIN that I was able to be a part of from that very seed stage to now its flourishing growth. And it has absolutely been my honor and privilege. I've witnessed and shared in the passion and the vision of the region. I've had the honor to work with brilliant innovators, entrepreneurs, community leaders, industry partners, and so much more, and many of whom are in this room tonight. So tonight is the culmination of years, and I mean years, of tireless work of the great people who exist in this ecosystem. But more importantly, you know, as we celebrate what we've achieved, more importantly, we're here to continue that call to action and ensure that our brilliant innovators and businesses are successful and leading at the provincial, national, and global level. So thank you for having me, and I promise I will continue to be your biggest fan at Alberta Innovates. And so I have another great honor now. I would now like to invite the Deputy Mayor Grandison to share welcoming remarks.
Okay. And the one thing about being up here, it's hard to see everybody out there. So good evening, everybody, and thank you for being here. On behalf of Council, I am pleased to welcome you all to Momentum 2023. I'd also like to extend regrets on behalf of Mayor Bowman, who is not able to be here this evening. So tonight's theme is innovation. Whoa, wait a second, look at me jumping way fast forward, eh? That's what happens when I have my notes all mixed up. So, so it says here, thank the team from Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism for the invite and a chance to say a few words. So now I'm right where I'm supposed to be, right? So thank you for joining along with me. So I'd like to recognize the lovely and talented MLA, if they're here, and of course our MP, Layla. And I see my fellow councillor, Kendrick Cardinal, here, and I heard earlier that Councillor Dogar was here, but I'm not sure if you are. Those two gentlemen are in the room. Formally welcome back Kendall Dilling, CEO with Pathways Alliance. Great to have them in the region. Thank Pathways Alliance. See, I'm going right through the whole thing. As a member of companies for its leadership and charting an innovative path to sustainability. Now, I'm where I was earlier, which says talk tonight about tonight's theme, which innovation lives here. And I remember when I read that, I thought, I've been in Fort McMurray for a long time, since 1983, and I truly believe that innovation lives in this region. It lives in this region because it's driven by the creativity and the demand of the energy industry. We don't get from where we were to where we are by accident. We get here because of a lot of innovation, a lot of hard work, a lot of creativity, and that has definitely happened over the decades within our region. Our region always meets the challenges. We're one of the most resilient areas, in my opinion, in the province and in the country. And the path to net zero is already happening, and it will continue to happen within our region. The importance of economic development cannot be understated. None of us move forward without all of us moving together. Economic development is not an individual sport, it's a team sport. It's an industry that requires all of us to work together in a creative and innovative ways to address the economic needs of our community, our province, and our country. So once again, I would like to thank everybody across the region for contributing to economic development, organizations, businesses, industry people, and of course our Indigenous communities who continue to step up in creative and collaborative ways to support everything that's currently happening. Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism, thank you for your leadership, your staff for holding this event, and for everybody in attendance. In closing, everyone, I hope you have a great evening. Enjoy your time here, enjoy your time with each other, and continue to create, innovate, and support each other. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Melanie. Good evening, everybody. It's always a pleasure to be back in the region. You know, economic development has a board that is comprised of members, 3 of whom must be from outside the region. So I am one of the outsiders, and it's always great to be back here. Welcome to Momentum 2023. I must say that Momentum is one of my favorite events. It's always a time when we get to talk about the great things that are going on in this community and to reconnect. The theme, as you heard tonight, is about innovation. And I think it's great that we take a conscious pause to celebrate all the great work that's happening here in the region while we look forward to the vision and hope for the future economy that we all work together to create. Our vision to awaken the world to the dynamic economy that is Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo guides the priorities, actions, discussions, and the decisions of economic development and tourism. One of those priorities is focused on supporting the growth of innovation. This vision goes one step further and calls for a culture of innovation that permeates every aspect of our work, individually and collectively as a region. From how we think and collaborate to how we solve problems and create value. Creating a culture of innovation also means learning from the past and having the courage to embrace new ways and new ideas of doing things. And this is essential for the future new economy of this region. And while we would love to think of Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo becoming the next Silicon Valley, we're focused rather on becoming the best place in Northern Canada to develop and implement new ideas, processes, and solutions to address local and global challenges. Innovation re-energizes economies and inspires people to live, work, visit, and invest in a region. I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo's strong track record for innovation. This region's history is closely tied to Indigenous innovation, ingenuity, and entrepreneurship. We've had to overcome a lot of obstacles, but we continue today to innovate as we have from the beginning days before the fur trade to where we stand today on the threshold of some really great new innovative thinking. Bringing traditional knowledge to the table has fundamentally led to innovative approaches to mitigating the environmental impacts of resource extraction. One more nod to innovation has to go out to the oil sands industry for its significant advancements throughout history, from newer methods of oil sands extraction to innovations in environmental technologies. Innovation is enabling the industry to lead Canada and the world's energy future. As Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo continues to navigate a rapidly changing world, fostering and embracing innovation cannot be overstated. This event, Momentum, is all about looking forward, and I want to leave this with you. Can Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo become a center of excellence for sustainable energy and share our successes with other countries and corporations for the betterment of the globe and the world in which we live? That's what we're all about. Thank you. It's my pleasure now to invite Kevin Weidlich, President and CEO, to come to the stage.
Thank you, Greg. Innovation is a constant in our region, whether it's large scale or small scale. And economic development and tourism's role is to cause action. We provide the resources, the expertise, and a support system for innovators and businesses to thrive. I want to go back to what Greg said about our existing culture of innovation and the many strengths that we have. Today is about inspiring thinking about the next 10, 20, or 30 years ahead, just like the innovators in the oil sands industry did so about 4 decades ago. We can deliberately create a community where we are economically diverse and competitive for generations to come. So here are a few fundamental principles that we can use to strengthen our culture of innovation. The first is embracing the discomforts of change. Innovation is disruptive. It challenges the status quo, and to create something new, we have to let go of how things have always been done, or our old beliefs that no longer serve us. The second is embracing failure. Innovation can only happen when there is a comfortable relationship with failure. It's not a death sentence. It's a learning opportunity and an essential step towards achieving success. And the third principle is understanding who we are competing with. And communities across the entire country compete with one another to attract investment, talent, and visitors to their homes. And Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo is no different. We are more competitive when we understand that competition in the innovation space is external to our region rather than internal amongst ourselves. Pathways Alliance has figured that out, and they're doing a great job of it. At a micro level, competition is healthy for any local economy. But to capture the larger scale opportunities, we have to be pulling together in the same direction. This is the secret sauce to attracting technology-related business and investment, growing tech entrepreneurs, and developing a skilled workforce that will take us to new heights. Innovation is already moving us forward, and we're seeing that. So let's accelerate those efforts and continue to build the momentum for Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo. Now, before I go, I want to give a shout out to Carla Buffalo, the CEO of the Athabasca Tribal Council. As we speak tonight, Carla is in Edmonton being awarded the University of Alberta Alumni Innovation Award. The award recognizes an innovative program, process, or product created and implemented by an alumnus that has significantly impacted their profession, community, and society at large. And Carla is being recognized for her work to guide culturally led solutions impacting education and social services and healthcare. So congratulations to Carla for this well-earned recognition. Also like to take a moment to thank Melanie and Cara for doing such a great job of being our MCs tonight. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
So we talked a little bit about, what a RIN is and how it fits into the overarching provincial strategy. So let's talk a bit more about the Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo RIN. So this RIN is made up of support agencies passionate about helping local early-stage technology and knowledge-based businesses innovate, grow, diversify the economy, and help build on that robust entrepreneurial culture that already exists here. In Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo, innovation's in your DNA. It's not just what you do, but who you are. As you've seen throughout the room, innovation is all around you. And let's just pause for a second and give a round of applause to all these amazing people who have come out tonight to show you what they're working on, to invite you into their minds and into their hearts, and really put themselves up there. So thanks, everybody. You guys are awesome. So we are thrilled to partner with Economic Development and Tourism and the Wood Buffalo Regional Innovation Network to help continue to foster this economic growth, create the jobs, the long-term prosperity. You're solving real-world problems here with visionary solutions and anticipating future challenges and opportunities, as well as driving the future of work. It's been amazing to be a part of. It's been awesome to witness. The companies that I have been able to work with in this region are on the cutting edge, are thinking beyond what is already happening, are really embracing that future of work, are embracing the industries of the future that don't even exist yet. And so I'm fortunate, and my partner in crime here is going to tell you some more about it, to bear witness to that and to have an impact or be a part of their journey in some respect. So on that note, I'd like to invite Jennifer Warren up. Jennifer is the program manager for the Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Regional Innovation Network. She is very much my partner in crime. I've had a few of here, but Jen's dedication and passion to the role has been unmatched, and we're so pleased to have Melanie here also to champion her cause. So come on up, Jen.
Thanks so much, Kara. Sorry, I'm actually losing my voice a little bit, so don't mind the cracking. The RIN's vision is to foster a collaborative community in energy, technology, and business innovation. Throughout this room tonight, we will see vision in action. People here are transforming our region's innovation aspirations into reality. To demonstrate and help paint a picture of the RIN, I'd like to share a short video with you. Hopefully. Amazing. So I started working with entrepreneurs in Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo in 2016. From what I have seen, those who fully embrace our program offerings and the resources available leverage those opportunities to create even more for their businesses. As Kara mentioned, the RIN is one of the avenues for entrepreneurs and innovators to connect in with resources available from all over the province as well as the country. The RIN's priority platforms were identified collectively in partnership with our member organizations during our inception. They were chosen in a way that builds on our oil and gas needs while solving some of the most pressing challenges. A few of these focuses for technologies and businesses are reclamation and remediation solutions, increasing local access to goods and services such as farming technologies and smart construction, and improving human performance. And this could include things such as robotic manufacturing, machine learning, and digital analytics. Our technology makerspace is proudly funded by Alberta Innovates and located in Startup YMM. And by the way, actually, all of these signs were created in there, so kudos to them. It is a place to roll up your sleeves, learn, tinker, and create. This space was built by community makers for the community. It offers a workspace where people interested in machining, computing science, and digital art are encouraged to experiment. The makerspace is the perfect place to turn an idea into something tangible. And also, you don't have to be an expert in the area to contribute. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for sharing in this experience with us tonight. And now I will pass it back to Melanie so we can hear from some of our local innovators. Thank you.
All around us are stories of people embracing innovation, businesses, entrepreneurs, social profits, and students. It's happening in every corner of our region. I want to take a moment to thank everyone who set up activations tonight. You have helped us to increase our appreciation for innovation by giving us a closer view. So thank you to Keano College, Father Mercury Our Sports, Acton Vertex, Pathways Alliance, Hexwave Media, Akron SCD, and our tourism team at Economic Development and Tourism. So now we're going to move on to the floor interview portion of the evening. We're going to hear directly from those who are on the front lines of innovation. Jordan Hertner is Manager of Marketing and Communications with Economic Development. She's with Julietta Miranda, owner of Kid Drop Fort McMurray, and Kyla Penner, owner of KP Squared. This unstoppable duo has joined forces to support working families, and their incredible journey to innovate childcare is unfolding. We are so proud to see them as leaders in this space.
Well, I am thrilled to be on the floor. We're just in the back corner. We're doing something different today, and I've got two incredible women with us who I cannot wait to hear a bit more of your stories because your businesses are absolutely taking off. So I'm going to start with Kyla. What makes your new innovative daycare stand out, and what sets you apart from the rest?
Well, prior to 2021 in our organization delivering 24-hour childcare to the ministry and our province, we are the first in the region, and we are first in the nation with individual sleep rooms to enhance that experience of supporting the whole family unit.
Yes, well deserved. So we're going to come over to Julietta in just a minute, but the two of you women have partnered. Your businesses now work together. How did this partnership come together?
I think the biggest piece was finding connection with another working mom, an entrepreneur that was bringing a service to our community that was really enhancing the lives of our families.
And people are utilizing it, of course.
Every day.
I'm one of those moms. Okay, I'm going to slip behind you, Julietta. Thank you for being here as well. Your business, also wonderful, and it came from a need that you actually identified. So what ways, I'm curious, have you been implementing technology to ensure safety and security into your business?
Thanks, Jordan. Well, all Kid Drop shuttles are tech-enabled, so which means that we have cameras on board, we have route optimization, fleet tracking, and driver performance. So with these tools, we're able to provide safe and reliable transportation to kids anywhere that they need to go.
And I think it's important to mention that using technology comes at a bit of a cost, of course.
It is. Well, starting a business isn't cheap. I think the second that you decide to go down that route, you're basically poor. I think that, our drivers are not just vetted, they're in uniform. They are, we have booster seat belts. I mean, there's a price to the service, and it's a premium service that we're very proud to offer.
And we're proud to have here, and you're expanding, which is wonderful. All right. Oh, there you are. Saw the business in a video, which is great. What is one thing our region can do to better foster a culture of innovation?
It kind of goes back to what I was just speaking about, because I think as founders, we sacrifice a lot to start a business, and I think grants around how to support founders, personal development, but also financially in those early stages is really important.
And I want to pose that one to you too, Kyla, so I'll ask that again. What is one thing our region can do to better foster a culture of innovation?
I do believe the event that is taking place tonight is a great contributor. It is coming together in connection and forming those relationships to be able to move together collectively.
Yeah, we can't do it in a silo. Okay. I'm not going to wrap this up. There's one really exciting thing that happened for Julietta today. I want her to share. She got an incredible message, so share with the audience what email you received today.
So we will be featured on Dragon's Den November 23rd at 8 p.m., so please stay tuned. We're very excited to share our story on national television.
And she did a wonderful job. Okay, we're going to throw things back to the stage. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Jordan. And Julietta and Kyla. Kid Drop Julietta is one of my clients that I've been able to work with, and watching their journey has just been amazing. We're now going to turn things over to Keano College for our next interview of the evening. Jordan is with Dr. Sandra Ifu, Vice President of Academic and Student Experience. Keano is establishing and uniting research with experiential learning and innovation to create a bolder north. They're laying the foundation for establishing a sustainable center for research and innovation. Such a facility would be equipped with the expertise, infrastructure, and facilitate applied research activities. The goal of this is twofold. The first goal would be to maintain existing industry and community partnerships. Secondly, it would help foster the navigation of those real-world challenges we were discussing and the future of work.
Thank you, Kara. All right, she alluded to it, but I have to ask, we've been hearing about a sustainable center for research and innovation. Tell us exactly what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So a Center for Research and Innovation really is a space that allows academics, researchers to come together and find solutions to environmental, economic, social issues for long-term sustainability. The other piece that is really important to note is that post-secondary institutions are well-positioned to drive research and innovation. And here the college has two wonderful exhibits. One is around esports and another is around simulation for paramedic programming. And these are just two very simple examples that do support research and innovation.
And it's wonderful. I got a chance to experience this. It's incredible. So thank you to your team behind you for showing up and doing this today. So how will this make our region more attractive and competitive?
Great question. So one piece for sure is attracting students, researchers, entrepreneurs. Really critical because in a community where economic sustainability is vital, we want to make sure that we're attracting top talents to support this kind of work. But the other piece too is we want to retain youth. And so having a Center for Research and Innovation does send a message to you to say, stay in town, complete post-secondary, and engage with top talent to help you engage in amazing research opportunities.
Lay roots here, start a family, buy a house, and work here. Absolutely, love that. So we're posing these last two questions to all of our floor interviews. What is one thing our region can do to better foster a culture of innovation?
I'm an economist, so I'm going to go with data. So data is absolutely critical. With data, we're able to come together to identify opportunities, but also gaps. We want to make sure that we're making strategic investments in areas where, as a community, we can, build this region for long-term sustainability. So with data, we can do that. So more data.
Okay, that's a good answer. And lastly, what would you say to businesses hesitant to explore new technologies?
I'll say you're probably already doing it. You're probably using technology in some way, shape, or form. I will remind us of the famous words of Henry Ford, founder of Ford Motors, and he said, if I had asked consumers what they wanted, they would ask for faster horses. So consumers are great with identifying problems and gaps, but not always the best solution. So use technology, embrace technology, and use it to find, amazing solution to help consumers in the long run.
Really appreciate it, Dr. Sandra Ifu, and thank you to your team behind you for coming and doing all of this. I know it takes 2 days to set up, and it's a short event, so we really appreciate it. All right, we'll head things back to the stage.
Thanks, Jordan and Sandra. So Keanu College, along with Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo Economic Development and Tourism, were the two partners that really worked with Alberta Innovates in developing the framework for the RIN up here. And they have been dedicated, tireless partners from day one. It has been amazing to see for me. I have a bit of a post-secondary background, just to see the growth that Keanu has gone through and how they've really responded to the challenges that industry has posed, and has really, they're really training the future of our workforce, and they're training them for real jobs, and it's just awesome to see. We are highly excited about the new Sustainable Center for Innovation. So now I'm very honored. It's time to hear from our keynote speaker for the evening, Kendall Dilling, President of Pathways Alliance. Welcome, Kendall. As President, Pathways Alliance, Kendall's responsible for the overall coordination of technology and project development and external relations on behalf of the Alliance members. With nearly 30 years in the oil and gas industry, Kendall has the experience in various areas, including environment, regulatory, health and safety, Indigenous and stakeholder relations, surface land, and business development. Take it away, Kendall.
Good evening. It is such a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Kara, for that kind introduction. Before I jump right into the content, we have a video we're going to spool up as well.
Oil sands operations are significant contributors to Canada's carbon emissions. To address climate change, our industry is taking action. Canada's 6 largest oil sands companies are working together, and we intend to make a real, positive impact. We're pooling knowledge and resources. We're exploring the best innovations available, established technology proven to reduce industrial emissions. Like the proposed carbon capture and storage network we're working on with governments, one of the world's largest. It's a huge step forward for us. We believe it can help Canada meet its climate goals and create jobs for Canadians, while helping to keep the world's energy supply secure and stable. And that's just one of the paths we're pursuing. We're continuing to invest in research to develop tomorrow's cleaner technologies, innovations that could be transformational for our industry and others. And we're working with experts and academics to become world leaders in land management, preserving biodiversity, and maintaining ecosystems. Canada's oil sands are on a path to net zero emissions from our operations. We've come a long way, and there's still a long way to go. We'll get there together.
That did a much better job than I could of explaining a little bit about what Pathways is all about. I think most of the people in this room probably have some familiarity. I certainly feel very comfortable here in Fort McMurray. I'm from Lloydminster originally, but I've spent most of my adult life in Calgary. But if I had a second home, don't tell the people from Lloydminster this, I would claim Fort McMurray if you would have me. I have been here many, many, many times over the years. And although I've never lived here, I spent years early in my career working on some of the major transportation issues of the day. And for some reason, when I come up here on some level, I have this little bit of pride that I had a little bit to do with the twinning of 63 and the bridge across the Athabasca and those beautiful interchanges that I love driving past on the way north. And I know that it's made a huge difference in the community. But just so you don't think I'm just pumping my own tires, I also worked really hard on the East Clearwater River Bridge crossing that totally didn't work out. So we win some, we lose some. Fort McMurray is an incredibly resilient city. It's always been a city that's kind of had ups and downs with commodity swings and different things, but let's be honest, the last 5 or 6 years have been especially tough. throw in a few natural disasters and COVID and everything that you've gone through, it's incredible to be here, to feel the resilience, and to be here at this event. Frankly, and as I think about the theme of the event and the speakers that have already addressed us tonight, like honestly, it's such a match with Pathways. It's unbelievable. I feel like we could steal your materials for our website and vice versa. We're really all trying to do the same thing, whether it's a small entrepreneur or the behemoth of that the oil sands industry is, trying to innovate, to change, to adapt. And so pleased to be here to be able to be part of this. If Alberta is the center of the Canadian energy industry, surely Fort McMurray is its beating heart. Now, as I understand it, really, momentum is about networking, and it was mentioned by already some people tonight that this is about networking and contacts and bringing people together to solve problems. And so I don't want to take too much time tonight, and I'm not going to talk too much about Pathways. I just want to throw out 3 things as conversation starters for the rest of the evening. 3 things that I think are really important. The first and most foundational one is that we actually do have a big problem. By the way, I'm going to get increasingly more positive as I go. Listen, as humanity, we are slowly destroying this planet. And it's not just what we're doing to the climate, it's what we're doing to the oceans, it's what we're doing to habitat and species diversity, it's what we're contributing to desertification and pollution. We, since the Industrial Revolution, have been using this planet pretty hard. And as population has grown and as the middle class grows globally, we are not on a sustainable trajectory. We have to do a course correction across a whole number of areas if we're going to leave a planet for future generations. And in this city, we know more than anybody that fossil fuels and oil and gas have been kind of, the poster child of this climate debate. And we've frankly had a bit of a target on our backs. And there's a lot of people in the world that would like oil and gas production to just go away. Now, there's a reality. And please understand as I say this, I'm just stating facts. And there's a certain pragmatic reality that comes with that we need to be realistic about. Despite hundreds of billions of dollars of investments in renewables and alternatives over the last 20 years globally, and incredible progress on many of these technologies, we have barely dented global dependence on fossil fuels. In 20 years, we've decreased the global energy mix, the fossil fuel contribution, by 3%, from 87% to 84%. Now, I'm conscious as an oil representative in an oil town, people think I'm saying it's going to be really hard to get off of fossil fuels, ha. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's going to be really hard to get off of fossil fuels, because that's actually a problem if we continue to use fossil fuels the way we're using them today. Now, fossil fuels, this isn't about fossil fuels, this is about the emissions. And we can, and this is where I start to get more optimistic, we can continue to harvest the incredible energy that's contained in a hydrocarbon molecule and produce it and deliver it in a way that doesn't contribute to greenhouse gas emissions. That's the transition, that's the transformation we have to go through as an industry and as a globe. And this is massive. This is the Industrial Revolution all over again, but in a much compressed time frame. They estimate it's a $200 trillion undertaking globally to shift from current energy systems. So, in my simple way of thinking, if fossil fuels are proving incredibly difficult to displace, then we better decarbonize those as quickly as and aggressively as we can on a parallel path while continuing to develop renewables and other non-emitting alternatives. That is the only way to address this problem. And the oil and gas industry, and as embodied by Pathways in the case of the oil sands industry specifically, we have shifted. Center has moved. We are full on committed to this transition. And so when I say we have a problem, what I mean is what got us here won't get us there. We can't just keep producing oil and gas in this province the way we've done up to date, up to this time, for decades to come. because this world has lots of hydrocarbons, lots of oil and gas. There was a time, even in my lifetime, when they talked about peak oil and we were running out, and then the technology fixed that, right? We learned how to do deep horizontal drilling and multi-stage fracking and access these massive shale resources around the world. The bottom line is there's lots of oil on this planet, and we will, just like the Stone Age didn't end because we ran out of stones, when the day comes that we don't use oil anymore, at least for combustion purposes, it won't be because we ran out of oil. There is lots of oil in this world. And so what that means is, in light of the climate imperative, as nations and industries come to terms with the fact that it's going to take decades to transition away from fossil fuels, they will then have to start prioritizing the lowest carbon fossil fuels they can possibly source. And so we know that oil sands has had a bullseye on it because of the higher emissions per barrel than many other forms of oil in the world. And markets are going to say, no, we want low carbon oil. That is our problem. We do not have a long-term future if we can't be relevant in that low carbon market. Now, here's where it starts getting more optimistic. We are really fortunate in the oil sands in that we actually have the technological solutions. There are many heavy industries around the world that have great intentions. They would love to decarbonize, and they actually don't have the tools in the toolkit to do it. The oil sands is different. This is a reason for great optimism. We 100% have the technologies right now today to decarbonize production of oil sands. I'm going to talk a little bit about carbon capture and storage. That was mentioned in the video. That's one of our near-term leading technologies. But we're working really hard on small modular nuclear. We're working really hard on hydrogen. We're working hard on solvents to displace steam. There's a whole host of technologies. And these are all very doable, implementable. We have the expertise, much of which is sitting in this room. We 100% can decarbonize our production. The one trick, I suppose, is that it is darn expensive. It is really expensive. We estimate that to decarbonize the oil sands at today's production levels is about an $80 billion undertaking. Now, of course, that will be done over some period of time, but still, even between now and 2030, just our CCS project alone is a $16.5 billion venture. Just to put, and by the way, the lion's share of that will be spent in the Fort McMurray region because of the concentration of oil sands operations in the vicinity. Now, I also recognize that people respond to that differently, right? If you're a small business owner or a landlord, you'd probably think, awesome. Our project is going to require 30 to 40,000 construction workers a year over a multi-year construction period. This is the equivalent of multiple major oil sands expansions going on concurrently. If successful, this will bring a lot of economic activity into the region. But I also recognize that there are people for whom that's not necessarily such great news, because we've all lived through the boom times when infrastructure and services were stretched almost to the point of breaking because of all the additional draw on them. And so we have to be really, really thoughtful about how we execute this work. And that's one of the brilliant things about Pathways. With all the companies coming together, we can actually coordinate and try and make sure we stage work in the most reasonable way to make sure that it's as efficient as possible for you. The most common question I get asked, and the one that I struggle the most to answer, is, okay, you've got this problem, you've got the technology, why don't you just go do it? Well, one of the challenges is the cost. We cannot, by ourselves as industry, invest $80 billion and remain a competitive investable proposition in a global commodity market where, let's be honest, many of our competitors around the world will not be making those investments. And so we then talk, and we look around the world, anywhere major CCS projects are advancing, it's always with a co-investment model with government and industry investing together. And that's absolutely, what we're proposing here, and we're in advanced and I would say very positive discussions with governments to try and achieve a fiscal framework that allows these kind of projects to proceed. But I honestly think, too, we need to reframe it a little bit, right? the oil sands industry alone, not even the rest of oil and gas in Alberta, and again, many of you in this room are an integral part of that, contribute about $20 billion a year to governments in cash through royalties and taxes. And that, by the way, is only going to grow because many of the oil sands projects are getting close to what we call payout, and they go into a higher royalty regime at that point. So that is a $20 billion and growing dollar number. I mean, that is like a third of Alberta's budget, right? I mean, this is incredibly material and on a national scale as well. And that doesn't include all the indirect and induced economic benefits of our industry and the spin-off job creation in secondary industries, and the overall GDP impact is orders of magnitude bigger than that. But let's just stick with the cash contribution of $20 billion. Really, all we're asking governments for is, hey, give us a little break on our rent, give us a little bit of that back so we can invest it to decarbonize our business and ensure that we're here to continue providing that $20 billion and growing dollars to governments for decades to come. Because we do know that oil and gas will be in demand for decades to come, and if we can provide that low carbon barrel, we have a really, really honest to goodness proposition in Canada to be the last barrel standing as a fully decarbonized barrel to those markets for as long as they last. And I've said this before in Fort McMurray, honestly, the market never goes away because there's a lot of end uses of heavy oil that aren't even combustion related, be it asphalts or petrochemical feedstocks and growing carbon fiber markets. I mean, there's all these uses for the product. If we can just decarbonize it, this will be an economic engine for this region and for this province and country for forever. So, okay, I've given you two things to think about in your conversations for the rest of the night. One is, hopefully, accept that we do have a problem, that we need to do a course correction. We actually have the technology and the people, and I think the ability to finance that transition. The one thing that I'd really like you to put your minds to, and the people in this room can be a big part of the solution, is how do we actually build big stuff in this country again? We have been absolutely stymied for the last decade plus on big infrastructure, and it's not just pipelines, right? I mean, across the country, NIMBYism and highly polarized interests are killing us to the point that we're almost becoming a bit of a laughingstock internationally. People do not think we can get stuff done in Canada anymore. And that is the bigger nut to crack. It's actually not the technology, it's not the financing, it's not the people. It's how do we come together and have broad shared interests and social license to allow these kind of projects to proceed in the context of a badly bruised, if not broken, Canadian Confederation. And that's just really hard, I won't lie. And that's the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night is, can we actually get broad consensus to do these projects? At Pathways, we also keenly understand how important true Indigenous partnership is to advance these projects. And we are well advanced in those discussions, and we'll continue working with those communities to ensure that they are a big part of this undertaking. You want to talk about entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, look in the Indigenous communities. There are incredible entrepreneurs in those communities, and they can be a big part of this. And those communities can and should benefit on an ongoing basis with predictable, steady revenues as a result of this, what I hope will be a massive influx of decarbonization investment in the province. Because remember, we're one project, right? There's multiple CCS projects proposed. There's all kinds of other decarbonization projects across oil and gas and power generation and steel and cement and you name it. So there's a lot of potential investment coming if we do this right. I just want to conclude with this thought, though. To get that broad buy-in and support to advance these kind of major infrastructure projects in this country, it is all hands on deck, right? Industry can't do it alone. Industry and government can't do it alone. Industry and government and Indigenous and local communities can't do it alone. It actually comes down to even individuals. We all have to accept that the world is changing, and we've got to be on side and be part of that. I find that everybody's an environmentalist as long as they think it's somebody else's responsibility to pay for it or to change their behavior. But you cannot transition your global energy system without that impacting every one of us in our daily lives and our choices as consumers. And we all have to put a shoulder to the wheel here. And I know in Fort McMurray, you will. Like, that is a given, and that's why I just appreciate coming here so much. But we need to, through our influences and our networks, really try and find common ground, break down these artificial barriers that have been keeping us polarized, ignore politics at times, and just have real conversations with real people. We do have shared values. We're doing this investment for the benefit of the environment and to create a long-term sustainable industry. We're not here, people worry that this is going to be the end of oil and gas jobs. No, the exciting part is this is about sustaining the current oil and gas jobs and adding a whole new family of decarbonization and sustainable related jobs in the industry. So I think it's super exciting. So thrilled to be part of Momentum 2023 and look forward to continuing the discussion. Thank you.
Thanks, Kendall. So I'm also from the good old Double L, Lloydminster, and would agree that traveling to Fort McMurray is one of the favorite parts of my job. So I have 2 regions that I cover, and so Lloydminster, Cold Lake, Bonnyville, and then all the way up here to Fort McMurray. So I pretty much cover the northeast side of the province. And the best part about coming here is I'm always made to feel like a member of the team. But I want to talk a little bit about Pathways Alliance, because the one thing I really appreciate about Pathways Alliance is that they're walking the talk. In my role as a TDA, I've worked with Pathways Alliance as they leverage their relationships and their expertise to support tech innovation and adoption. Their members identify the problem, the big problems, and Pathway Alliance helps source the solution. But not just with the big guys. They find those little guys. They find the tech innovators in the garage, and they bring them to us at Alberta Innovates to help support them, whether it's their business, whether it's commercializing that tech, whether it's helping them get it to scale. They are the greatest advocate of those small businesses who are putting their brilliance to work to solve the grand challenges that are experienced in industry right now. So thank you, Kendall, for being a realist, for being brave to talk the low carbon oil talk, and for being a champion of the little guy, and for recognizing that we still have a place, and it's a very important place. So thank you once again. Now I'm going to throw it back to Jordan. I'm not sure where Jordan is.
I'm in the back corner.
Back corner? This back corner?
No, the other
this
back corner. There you go.
Okay, so Jordan is with Edward Granger of Granger's Greens. Edward has taken a fresh approach to growing local premium produce. His business uses vertical farming technology, transforming how we produce food. This process involves growing crops in stacked layers or vertically inclined surfaces, often in indoor environments such as warehouses and greenhouses. His journey to innovate the future of Alberta food production, and especially in this region, is happening in our own backyard. So take it away, Jordan.
Thank you. And I have to say, I've known this man now for a few years, and when I found out he was doing this, I was absolutely fascinated. So first and foremost, you are a fireman by day and also by night, let's be real. And on the side, you're now an entrepreneur. What started Granger's Greens? How did you even get into this?
Yeah, the need for the entrepreneurial itch, I got to scratch that for sure. I married a farm girl, and I kind of started to learn about traditional farming and how that was, and it became appealing to me for sure. But also born and raised in Fort Mac by the hands of KP Wong, the great Dr. KP Wong, if anybody else is born and raised here. Yep, born and raised here 37 years ago. Very proud Fort McMurrayite. And yeah, I kind of started to realize, even though that we are a modern community with the modern amenities, there are some shortfalls. One being leafy greens, herbs, root vegetables, produce, right? We get a lot of good products here, but it can be better. And I want to provide that for this community, right? So pesticide-free, herbicide-free, non-GMO, high quality, which this community wants, right? So that's what my wife and I have decided to do, and that's what we've decided to go forward with, and that's Granger's Greens.
And you guys are just getting started. So let's envision, if there were no limits to growing this company, what would it look like down the road for you?
Yeah, that's a crazy thought. Even though I haven't sold a single head of lettuce, not one yet. I foresee a huge market here for this indoor agriculture business. This can be individual families. We're looking at educational institutions. We're looking at remote locations for plant sites, for companies who want to provide for their workers that type of produce, right? On a large scale wholesale, we can go in every grocery store. One farm at a time. Yeah. Of course, I get ahead of myself, right? But that's the limit is none, right? So.
I love it, and I want to go to the farmer's market and buy my produce from you. So what is one thing our region can do to better foster a culture of innovation?
Man. Yeah, well, this is awesome. Everything you guys have done, and Kendall talking about this community in a very positive way. Thank you for that, sir. Yeah, we're doing great things here. I feel that if we can possibly focus on some sort of incubation process for young entrepreneurs, maybe subsidization of any sort like that, something to explore. But we're doing great things. We recognize that this community is a place for this kind of progress, right? So we need to focus on that and then move forward with that. So however that looks, I don't know. Yeah, I can answer that exactly, but that's what we need to do. Really lean into that, right?
Wonderful, love that answer. Okay, and lastly, what would you say to businesses hesitant to explore new tech?
Yeah, if you don't follow tech now, then you're going to lose, right? So for my farm, exactly, it's a state-of-the-art piece of equipment, right? That's going to give us the best produce possible. But eventually, AI and robotics, looking over there, is going to be the next step in agriculture in every aspect. So we need to continuously move forward with that, right? So I've already talked to the young woman over there. I said, hey, I need a robotic arm that can harvest my produce, right? So these kind of things are coming right away as fast as they can. So you need to be on top of that, right? So that's what I believe is the next step with agriculture, with all business. So don't be shy, adopt it, go for it. Yeah, you have to, or you're going to lose.
Yeah. Okay, I just have to ask, because I know your facility was just shipped and you're so excited that it's here now. When do you envision the first crop being complete?
In January. We're going to have kale, we're going to have arugula, which is going to be delicious. Basil, by the way. This community has not had good basil ever. We got you. Granger's Greens has you. Yeah, clap. Yeah, raise it up. Let's go. Let's talk about that. Let's get excited about salad for sure, if we can, if it's possible. Yeah, no, it's going to be good. In the new year, we're going to have, and constantly from there, I'm already looking at my second farm, and we're going to be pumping in fresh produce. Again, pesticide-free, no herbicides, non-GMO, beyond organic is the way I say it. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're so excited for you. Best of luck. Continue to link in with economic development and tourism, and I can't wait to try a bowl of your salad. Okay, thank you. We're going to throw it back to the stage. We have one more final interview. That was great.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it.
Excuse me. Thank you, Jordan and Edward. So for our final interview tonight, we're going to hear from Dr. McKenzie with Acton Vertex. He's going to tell us about the company's cutting-edge restart technology. We'll watch a brief video introducing the technology being used to preserve the forest floor through ecological restoration.
There are big questions about how to return land to its natural state after resources are extracted.
When I look at some of the research that we've done and what others have done, I am really optimistic that we can get the land back to a self-sustaining boreal forest. Maybe not exactly the same that it was before, but pretty close.
200 kilometers south, a crew is working to restore an old gravel quarry next to Fort McMurray Airport.
So this guy here is a frozen puck of forest floor, essentially just compressed into this puck shape, and then it is frozen to preserve it until we can use it for reclamation work like this.
Megan Boostrom is on a crew doing land reclamation using forest floor dug up elsewhere.
And the seasoned roots there are then placed back in a frozen puck state on the reclaimed landscape, and that puck regenerates new plants.
Megan is a member of the McMurray Métis. She took a technical course at a local college that embraces Western and Indigenous values.
It's a two-eyed way of seeing perspective, which incorporates Indigenous knowledge and traditional knowledge with Western science. So you have the appreciation of the land, but also you have the facts to back it up. It pretty much goes from this to this, which has been growing for 4 weeks now, and you're gonna see all sorts of things sprouting, and these are gonna be native species to the area. Lily of the valley, our fireweed, and our aspen. We have our Labrador tea and blueberry up here. So they will actually support each other in their growth by sending signals to each other through their root systems.
These pucks are designed to restart forests that were removed by industry.
Personally, I've just always had a connection to the land. I don't know if it's blood memory or what, but it's always fascinated me, especially the medicinal properties of plants.
You're taking a piece of Mother Nature, the forest floor, which is the, living skin of the earth, and when you put that back on the landscape, you're getting those same species back.
We have to be conscious of the effect that we're having on the land and what we're putting back into it. It has to be give and take, so that's why it's so important that we do reclamation work. To do something like this is just, it matters to me, and I'm really glad that I get to do it with friends, and I want to make a difference.
Well, absolutely fascinating. Yes, thank you. And it looks like you have an inspired team that truly believes in what you're doing, which is great. So what kind of research and development went into creating this technology?
Well, before I invented the restart process, I had been doing research up here for a decade, trying to understand the value of topsoil and how to establish natural, native, self-sustaining boreal forests just using the topsoil itself. And what we found out is, there's two key things. One, you got to keep the topsoil alive. And two, you really got to focus on that top layer that contains all of the seeds and roots. Now, if you compare reforesting topsoil that's alive to forests to reclaiming forests with degraded soil, you'll notice right away that that forest is much more healthy. And one of the challenges is using typical operational practices in mining. It's very expensive. You have very large equipment, and you got to use a lot of topsoil to reclaim a small area. So to address that challenge, that's where I invented the restart process. And what's interesting, though, is what sparked the idea of restart is, as I was hunting up here along 881, I came across this giant tree throw. And for some reason, I looked at it, and all of a sudden I had this vision of restart, and I knew that I could make those tree throws better, smaller, at an operational scale.
I absolutely love that. You had to go to nature to actually get the answers. So are you experiencing any challenges to adoption in our region? And if so, what will it take to overcome those challenges?
Yeah, I think the biggest limitation we're having, or the hurdle, is just getting industry to adopt this new technology. And if you look at the process, it's a very simple process. We are using Earth to recreate Earth, and all we're doing is we're not really changing the actual process too much. What's currently happening, we're simply adding water to topsoil, compressing it, busting it up in pucks, and throwing it out. And that's it. And if you think about it, we're able to take 1 hectare of topsoil and create 50 hectares of reclaimed land. And for those who are not that knowledgeable about land reclamation here in the mineable oil sands, they're going to spend $1 billion planting trees and shrubs, and this process has the potential to reduce that cost by half.
So this is a pretty big deal, what you're doing. We need to get it out there a little bit more, essentially.
Yeah.
Wonderful. What is one thing that our region can do to better foster a culture of innovation?
What attracted me to come here and do my research is just how innovative the region is in itself. So, I'm very blessed to be able to actually be working in this industry. But I would say if there could be one thing, is just getting the message out of the good things that we're doing here, not just within the community, but abroad, nationally and globally.
Share what we're doing here, of course. And then lastly, what would you say to businesses hesitant to explore new technologies?
You just got to start doing it, and I say take risks with curiosity. And what I mean by that is that don't solely focus on the end product, but enjoy and really learn from the journey to get there. Because I think, if you're not focusing on the journey, you might miss that tree throw experience that I had out in nature.
And that's what got you here today. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Dr. Dean McKenzie. I really appreciate it. And thank you to all the floor interviews. We're going to throw things back to the stage.
Thank you, Dr. McKenzie, and thank you, Jordan, for facilitating the floor interviews tonight. I'd also like to thank Kara, our Technology Development Advisor from Alberta Innovates, and Jennifer Warren, who manages the Regional Innovation Network. Please connect with either one of them or anyone from our team, and we'd be happy to share more about what we're doing down at Startup YMM with the Regional Innovation Network. Okay, and our final door prize of the night is courtesy of WestJet. The winner will be the lucky recipient.
Is there one more of these? No, this is it. Oh, this is okay.
Yeah, okay, sorry. The winner will be the lucky recipient of a round-trip flight for two to any regularly scheduled WestJet destination. Michael Robert.
We have to get you up here for a photo, actually. Yeah.
That's
Who's
good,
got
yeah.
a camera from our team? No, I thought there was someone with a camera. We'll just pretend we have
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you.
All right, so congratulations to all the winners, and thank you to Flora Boreal for these beautiful arrangements. As we close out Momentum, we want to leave you with this. In many ways, the future is already here. Our call to action tonight is to inventors and entrepreneurs. Let us help you unleash your potential. Bring us your ideas, products, and processes. We're here to help you reach the next level. Thank you so much to everyone for coming. Please stay in network. We have the room until 10. Good night.